Yeah, we need a new intro. What's up, everybody? I'm JS. This is my buddy Jeff. We are the Geeks and Company. This is the Geek Boutique podcast for Thursday, December 14th, 2023. Holy cow, it's December 14th. Things are moving along so quickly. I don't understand what's going on. It's almost Christmas already, but it is the Geek Boutique podcast. We have a special guest with us here tonight, Mr. Aka Groot in London. Our buddy Steve Jones. How you doing?
I did that on purpose.
Oh, I know you did.
Aka is in the house. It's double Aka tonight. It's Aka in stereo.
There
Just
it is.
text
See,
on the-
I didn't have it on, but there it is.
There it
It
is.
says, we'll be right back. Yeah. Guys, we are going to be talking to Steve, aka Groot in London today, and we're going to be exploring some heavy topics. One topic in particular we're going to be exploring is talking about imposter syndrome, as we said in the lead up. But before we get to that, of course, as always, Mr. JS Belanger with us. How's it going, JS? How you doing this week, buddy?
Good, doing good, man.
Yeah, you doing all right?
Busy week. Between work and I've been refinishing a cargo box for the roof of the car that we bought. It was all busted, so I've been fixing that up and getting that ready for the holidays because we're going to be hitting the road for the holidays. So that will be fun.
Back to Quebec. Are we going?
Old Quebec.
Nice. Quebecois.
So that'll be a good time. What about you, buddy? How you been this week?
I've been fantastic. We had our big holiday dinner at work today, so all the turkey and the stuffing and the trimmings and the whole 9 yards. So that was fantastic. Some delicious cookies to go with that. That was really good. But I had it at like 11:30, so that's why I was hosing down these on the pre-show today, guys. If you guys try to tune into the technical difficulties pre-show, it was very well named today because it didn't exist. I don't know what was going on with Instagram, but it would not let anybody join JS's live. So we did not do a technical difficulties pre-show. You can see the struggle of 5 minutes, I think, on JS's or the Geeks & Co account. But we do have our boy Steve here. Steve, how's your week been, man? You're still wearing your scrubs. You're still wearing your work clothes. Like, did you literally just get home from work to talk to us?
Yeah. So today was rough. I woke up late this morning. I was so tired. The wife got the kids. Then went to school. I had dentist appointment today. I got a crown put in. From there, I had 1 minute to get to work, which is great because it's like, here's dentist, here's my office right there. So
at least there's that.
Perfect. So I walk out and I walk in, grab my client right in the room. And then I shuffled my last two clients, so I was free today. So
hey, you made room.
I only had 3. It was all right. It was good.
Ooh, that's dedication, boy. I'll tell you now. Are you lads drinking anything this evening? Can we little sociable, little
absolutely.
Oh, look at this guy down at the bottom representing there. Oh, someone's been saving that till he was back on the podcast.
Right.
I had 2 for a reason. I had one to drink and one to sign, Well,
I've got this really cool one. I'm thinking about popping the tab on here now, and
I'm gonna sell that $1 million on eBay.
Those that don't know, Steve asked the Geeks & Co to sign the one of the few remaining unopened cans of the May the 4th Be With You honey lager that we had going on at our May the 4th event at the London Brewing Co-op this past year. So Rob the bad guy, JS is over here, producer Jen is signed down here, and this weekend I'm going to make sure I sign it. I'm going to make sure
the guy who's had it since London Comic-Con.
Well, I haven't seen you, so
I know
there really hasn't been any. Listen, you're pretty low on the priority list. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, you're a fucking tree. Like, what do
This is that argument you wanted to bring up, eh?
Speaking of argument, guys, I'm just going to get this out of the way now too. So if you looked at my story or even my note, I am asking people for their opinion on how you like in this topsy-turvy world of all this political right, left, all this terrible arguments going on, and how divisive we become.
This is an important one.
This is important.
Oh,
look at this. Megan Avery's already in. Megan Avery, I haven't even said it yet, and she knows what I'm talking about. Drums or flats, guys. When it comes to chicken wings, drums or flats. She's saying drums. She's wrong, but I believe
flats all the way.
Yeah, so JS is a flats guy. I believe our boy Tree down here is a drum guy.
I'm a drum guy.
Bitch, you absolute basic.
I like them both, but like if you put 2 in front of me, so you can only have one.
Yeah,
I'm playing the drums.
You have to take a
Like-
preference. Flats, I will die on this hill. Nada, thank you so much. You are, of course, a woman of culture, as I knew you were. Off.
This is gonna get WWE rough in
It's
here.
going to get a little bit divisive. But if we have to be divisive about something, let's be divisive about chicken wings and not some terrible political.
See,
view.
Megan, I'm with you.
Yes, so far I don't discriminate,
Drums.
can't hate. No, sir. That's not. I don't want any of that.
Hey,
This-
listen.
you have
You can
to
like
choose.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Eric, if you're not on my side, you're fired.
If you're not with us,
You're
against
against us.
I'm
No,
fat. I
that-
meet them
I
all.
feel
No,
like-
that dude, you can't. That's such a cop out. All right, boot Eric from the thing, whatever that is.
Cop
But
out.
that's
Eric,
What a-
you're gone.
what a
punk.
terrible cop out answer that is.
I mean, listen, I'll eat them all as well.
No, it's 100%, dude.
But if I had a choice,
Yes.
like if I went to the restaurant and I ordered a pound of wings and they said, well, would you like flats or would you like drums?
Because
I
you
would
can't have
instantly
both.
say flats.
See, Brian,
Right?
Brian, my hopes were so high, and now they've been just brought down so low.
See,
More
I'm
meat
with
on the
him.
drum, less effort. I
I'm with him. I
disagree.
said
By
it
the way, I
before.
disagree with both
Yeah.
of those. By the way, I think both of
Mhm.
those are wrong. But regardless,
Well, there is
like
more meat
Dark
on
meat
the
or white
drums.
meat? Come on, like
yeah, but that's dark meat. Like, don't. That's not even a question.
Sure.
What kind of question is that? Like, that's crazy.
white meat's dry. It's gross.
Why do we have Mike Myers on this podcast ever?
Saucy or
Uh,
dry.
I'm a
gonna have
saucy guy. I'm a saucy guy.
I mean, I'm a saucy guy too, but that is not the article of debate today. Breaded or non-breaded? No,
If you-
guys,
If you ever
stop
see me
adding
clean
caveats,
shaven,
man. Just
I
answer
wanted
the
to eat
goddamn
chicken wings.
question. Drums have more meat. That is wrong. Drums are less messy. That is also wrong.
that
You
is
guys-
100% wrong.
Wait, you guys are not eating your flats.
no,
correctly.
the flats are. If you look at those eating competitions, the flats, the guys will tell you eat the flats because they're faster, they're
Yes.
cleaner. It's
you get
true,
all
but
the
I
meat.
still stand on more meat on a drum.
I could not
Yeah.
disagree more. But that's okay. That's okay. You know
Yeah.
what? I'll give you that the volume may be more on a drum. The quality of the meat's way better on the drum, I find.
Yes.
Or sorry, on
Well,
the
there's
flat.
no
On the
nerve,
flat,
right?
I mean.
All
the
of the
flat.
meat on the drum has nerves on the end. So really,
I
like a
think
third
I
of
think that
is-
your flats are imposters.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Mm,
Non-breaded.
What now?
Actually, I do.
What
I do
now,
like,
boys?
I like some light breading. I don't like a naked wing. I mean, again, I'll eat a naked wing, but I prefer some light breading on there for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Jen's been making some naked wings in the air fryer, and let me tell you something. Like once you've tossed them in, I don't know. I've been liking the mix of buffalo
Mm.
and like hot, spicy Thai, sweet chili Thai. whatever it's called.
Go with the ghost
Uh,
pepper.
The mix together. Ooh, toss them in
Yeah.
that, and you're
The
good.
at least
hotter,
on-
the better, Natasha.
At least we can agree. Dusting, I agree. I don't want them like so battered that it all you're getting is batter. But as I would never choose to get them naked if I have a choice. A light dusting is what I'm after. Just a nice light flour dusting. Hot. The hotter the better for me. Yeah, as hot as
Yeah, I
can get 'em.
like hot. Yeah.
I'd sign a waiver. I'm cool with it. Like,
Barely cut that. hot
Well,
and honey is good.
see-
I do like hot and honey.
I like hot honey as well.
Yeah.
I am the kind of guy that I like hot, but it has to taste good.
Yeah, still has to taste good. I
Once
agree.
you start losing flavor because it's so hot you can't taste anymore, that's too hot.
Yeah,
there
no, I
are
agree.
there are
You know?
some hots that hit that it's freaking hot, but it
Yeah.
still has flavor. That's what I like too.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
like
Yeah.
the hot where you taste it's gross because it's hot.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, at my age, the hotter I get it, the more I pay for it.
I was
The next that evening in the
Well,
like the
yeah.
next, but my stomach, Steve, like I pay the price every time. I went to a local brewery here in town called Forked River. They have Nashville hot chicken sandwiches and Nashville hot tenders, and I got the hot chicken sandwich, and he went, "How hot do you want it?" And I said, "As hot as you can make it." And he looked me dead in the eye, and he went, "There's no take backsies." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And dude, it hurt. Like it hurt, but it's still the taste and the flavor was still there. It was two thighs that were stacked on each other, which I mean, I like two thighs stacked. And then I just housed this thing, and I definitely paid the ultimate price the next day because I mean, it was very, very, very. It was maybe the hottest thing I've ever had, or it was like top 2 or 3 hottest.
I'll
things I've ever had.
have to go with you one time. We'll
But was
try.
it good?
Yeah. It was fantastic. So we're gonna go there tomorrow. I'm gonna try the tenders tomorrow because apparently they got some pretty girthy tenders there too. So
Megan Avery is saying,
girthy tenders. I like it.
"Ooh, I have the whole collection of the hot one sauces, and boy, killer." Yeah, I heard a lot the next day. I mean, some of those, like the last 3 or 4, are apparently
the bomb is pretty killer. I've had it a few times now, and I've had it on a couple of chicken sandwiches as well. And that's you know, but that one does not taste good. That one's just pain. Like there's no.
I'll have to make I can make a Scotch bonnet hot sauce.
Oh yeah, no, I do.
I'll
like
make
Scotch
I'll make you some of that. Yeah,
yeah, that's some good. If you ain't crying, your taste buds ain't dying. That's absolutely
Thanks,
correct.
Natasha.
That's
Is
right.
It's the lips, man. You can handle it in the mouth. If it gets the lips, that's it.
See, the lips are fine, but once it starts getting into the back of the throat, there's no relief. Like it's just.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I like that burn.
Well, I heard you like it in the back of the throat
yeah.
for sure, absolutely, 100%. But you know, I'm just. The bomb, holy shit! Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's an example of something that's just hot and doesn't taste good because it's fucking terrible. So, but yeah, if you like it hot, man, it's hot. That's for sure. Speaking of hot. I guess we should probably thanks guys for indulging me. And by the way, I think pretty much everybody in here has gone ahead and responded to my flats versus drums debate on
the
Instagram.
Podcast, the Geeks and Co needs to make like a poll.
Yeah, flats
That's
versus
what's
drums.
happen.
Yeah. But a ton of people have messaged me responding to that. And by the way, flats are like way ahead. So
we're not friends anymore.
Well, that's how do we stop his podcast? How do we mute? Can I mute him?
Kick him off.
Can I mute him or something?
There we go.
Can't.
Hey! Oh, where's he going? Oh shit! Oh no! Oh, Steve can't join us anymore, guys. Sorry, it would be nice, but he had to go. Don't forget your place, son.
There goes the tears.
You like flats. You can't sit with us. You're saying that wrong. I like flats, and you can't sit with us. I don't know if you know this or not, but we're the cool.
I mean, I feel like this is the wrong discussion because really, all of us liking flats and all of them liking drums.
Look at this. He's already got to an us versus them. I love this.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
It's not helpful,
Perfect.
right? Because to be the perfect wing partners, you need to have a flat and a drums person so that the person that likes drums eats the drums and the person that likes the flat.
You share the load, right? Like here's a plate.
Right?
You take half, I take half.
Right.
If
but
you
as
both
long
like
as
flats, you're not good wing partners.
Granted, and that's if like you're doing them yourself. But if we order like 40 wings, you're counting on there being 20 drums and 20 flats, and that's probably not going to be what happens.
Well, I mean,
let me tell you, if I don't get my 20 wings, I'm gonna be a real grumpy by the end of that. I get 12 to their like 28.
One than
like,
the other.
You're gonna see the real Negan come out.
13 minutes of debating chicken wings.
Yeah, this is why you listen
to Geek Boutique podcast.
There is never an even amount of each. No, I know. There's
I
not.
I agree. That's cheers.
Guys, and by the way, I know we're being silly here, and we love being silly here. What's not silly is we need your help. We need you guys to make sure you click that like and subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, or if you're not following us on your favorite podcast platform, please click whatever that button is. We really would love your support. It really helps us out. Make sure you click the like button. Let's all these algorithms know you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more of us. Because we are here tonight actually to talk about a little bit of a more serious topic. Our buddy Steve here sent me a message. What was it, 2 weeks ago, or it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? He's like, "Hey, I'd love to talk about this, and you know, I think this would make for a good topic." And I was like, "Man, that's bang on," because I funny enough have had this conversation with other people just recently, and that is imposter syndrome. Sorry, Jeff is laughing now. Are you laughing at Jen's comment?
Yes. Just a Jim recorders for this shit.
That's right.
Wings are a big debate.
I mean,
she's just kidding. Flatties all day. Agreed. Flatties all day.
I told
you. It's the only flat thing I like.
Jen, you were the goddess of everything. No, I don't know. I don't know anymore.
If she's the goddess of everything and she's saying flats, I don't think you should be questioning her, sir. I think you should be questioning yourself.
Maybe.
Take a good, long, hard look in the mirror, Steve. Speaking of good, long, hard looks in the mirror, JS, what are we talking about today? I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You know what? Some of these best episodes are the ones that go off the rails like this. So, I mean, if they happen to go off the rails,
you bring all my hair down in my face and see what happens again.
Well,
that's all it takes.
Christ.
That's all it would take, bud. That's literally all it would take.
And have mercy.
For this
Anyways,
go right to left field.
sorry, man. I will no longer. I'm not going to sidetrack us anymore. I'm all done. You go. It's a very important topic that we have to talk about today, guys.
Oh,
Pretty
here
serious.
we go.
Here we go.
Thank you, Megan. That one I will never forget that
Nope.
comment. I think it was
Nope.
it Andrew? No,
No,
it was Sam.
Jammin'. No, it was Ben Jammin'.
Oh, was it? I thought it was Sam.
Absolutely Ben. No, it was Ben.
Either
Jammin'.
way,
There
it
you go.
was,
I like,
it was so well timed. It
Yeah.
made me cry.
yep, me too.
Literally made me cry.
Anyways, what are we here to talk about?
So
today?
we're talking about imposter syndromes
Yes.
today, guys.
Clearly
I wanted
not
to
a problem here.
I mean, yeah, we're just, you know, I was about to use a very bad R word, but
Yeah,
you
don't
know,
do that.
we're
Don't
just-
do
we're
that.
just
Focus.
idiots.
Focus.
we're just
Producer
idiots.
Jen is telling. See what happens, Jen, when you leave us to our own devices. Jen used to be in the background running all of
Off
this
the
shit,
rails.
and she was
Off
like
the
2
rails.
months ago. By the way, if you've noticed a sharp decline in the quality of the show in the last couple of months,
It's when Jen
that's
got busy.
why Jen just hit a wall with us. She's like, "Fuck you, geeks! I'm not doing this anymore." And so now,
Well, that's not exactly what happened, but
that's
you
pretty
know.
much what happened. She dressed it up and made it sound nice, but that's pretty much what happened. And so now this is what you get, guys. You get a 20-minute argument about how you like your fucking chicken wings because she's not here to keep us on track. So sorry, man.
What are we talking about?
Imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, if we can't stay on topic, I mean, it is what
No,
it
we
is,
have
right?
to.
I mean, we'll
That's
have to
just-
do another episode.
No.
about this,
We
right?
can do this. I
'Cause-
promise. We're not going to talk about chicken wings for the next 40 minutes.
Move for it.
You forget who you were
I
listening
mean,
to now.
I could, but no one's going to stand with our numbers are going to plummet. There's going to be 3 people watching this.
Oh boy, here we go. The comments keep coming. I got to stop looking at the comments. All
Hot
right,
carrots and
nice.
celery and blue cheese before ranch.
No, I love it all. I love it all.
No, that just takes
Oh,
up
yeah,
value
yeah.
of real estate that could be taken up by chicken wings.
No, but
Yeah,
this-
that's true.
It's like when they bring you, like remember when we were at Bull and Barrel and it was the all you can eat and they brought you the waffle fries and I told you guys don't eat the waffle fries. It's just going to take up room.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how they
and
get
then we
ya.
all ate the waffle
That's
fries and we're
how
like,
they
wow,
get
these
ya.
are so good.
Yeah, no,
But goddamn, they were bringing out wings, 3 wings at a time.
I know.
Like, how is that all you can eat wings, man? Like, bring me
It's
fucking
not.
12. Like,
That's
when I know I can't
terrible.
eat 12, I won't order 12. But don't bring me 3 at a time and then I have 40 minutes for more wings.
Shauna, how are you? Good to see you. Obviously, hello, Skittles the third. Let's go, boys. We're getting there. The topic today is the real imposter. This is the Chicken Wing Podcast now. I agree. Back on topic. We were talking about Jeff's hair. No, we were not. How do you like your chicken wings? Bob says cooked. Very important, Bob. Very important. I agree.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give you
cooked
that.
is
Cooked
definitely
wings,
the way
cooked
to avoid
wings.
salmonella. For
The way to
sure.
go. The way to go. Anywho,
I'm just gonna mute myself. That's the only way this is gonna.
that's no, that's okay. That's okay. Can I go like this? Oh, I can.
Ah,
So look at that. I can not only mute you.
ah.
Uh,
You.
Oh, but I can
Gold
unmute
power.
you. Look at
That's
that.
way better.
Don't get too cocky now, Jeff.
So about that imposter.
About that
syndrome.
imposter syndrome, says
Yeah.
Natasha. About that imposter syndrome. So this is the definition. Okay, so this is kind of like the clinical definition that I've found online. Now, I know that there are different definitions of this. And actually, Steve, you kind of started us down a path that I want to go down after this.
Yeah.
We had to stop you because it was freaking gold. But the clinical definition of imposter syndrome is a behavioral health phenomenon described as self-doubt of intellect, skills, or accomplishments among high-achieving individuals. Now, like anything else, imposter syndrome can manifest itself in many different ways through many different stories. It's fairly widely accepted now that there are 5 specific, or not 5 specific, there are mainly 5 categories. Not that there aren't other types, but there are mainly 5 categories of imposter syndrome, which are the perfectionist, the expert, the natural genius, the soloist, the super person. Do you guys want to hear the quick definition of what those are?
Hit me.
Ignore the names too, because
ignore the names.
Will be like, oh, natural genius. I can't say that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? That's not the point. So the perfectionist, this type of imposter syndrome involves believing that unless you were absolutely perfect, you could have done better. You feel like an imposter because your perfectionist traits make you believe that you're not as good as others might think you are. That's probably the most common type of imposter syndrome that you will see out there. The expert feels like an imposter because they don't know everything there is to know about a particular subject or topic. They haven't mastered every step in the process because there is more for them to learn. They don't feel as if they've reached the rank of expert. I know a lot of people like that. So also fairly common. The natural genius is in this imposter syndrome type, you may feel like a fraud simply because you don't believe that you are naturally intelligent or competent. If you don't get something right the first time around, or it takes you longer to master a skill, you feel like an imposter. Also know a lot of people like this. The soloists. It's also possible to feel like an imposter if you had to ask help to reach a certain level or status. Since you couldn't get there on your own, you question your own competence or abilities. I fall a little bit into this category, probably more than I want to admit. The super person, this type of imposter syndrome involves believing that you must be the hardest worker or reach the highest level of achievement possible. And if you don't, you are a fraud. Now, I think there's something to be said about wanting to, there are studies that have been done about this, and there are PhDs that are experts in this, but at the core, everybody's story of how they feel or why they feel how they feel is very, very different from one person to the next. We've got somebody actually here to talk to us about not only his own experiences, but things that he sees. I'm assuming you probably see a lot of it at work.
You get it everywhere, man. You can walk through a grocery store and see it 50 times. It's the statistics, basics, 3 out of 5 individuals. 3 out of 5 individuals have suffered with it on one extent or another. And I bet you any money those 2 also have. They just don't understand it.
Right.
It's the first thing, like you said, I had touched on it before. I want to drop this one, okay? It's not syndrome, okay? Everyone has labeled it imposter syndrome. Syndrome boils it down and perpetually causes you to believe that it's you. It's a part of you. We need to stop calling it and causing it to be a crutch by naming it a syndrome. It's a phenomenon. It happens to every single person on the planet. Have you ever asked yourself the question, how did I get here? You ever said to yourself, oh, shoot, I have an interview. I don't know if I'm good enough for this. You ever gone to school and you've tried to get a degree and you're like, holy shit, I passed that test. I shouldn't have. It's imposter. It's feeling like a fraud. That's the point. It's and as far as I'm concerned, calling it a syndrome brings it down and puts it into an identity. It's now part of you. It's who you are now. Now it's going to be, oh, I'm not doing that because I have imposter syndrome. I'm not going to put myself out there because I have that. I'm an imposter. I have imposter syndrome. No. It's a phenomenon. It's normal. We need to be able to talk about things like this and other mental health in general. Like you shouldn't ever feel like I'm such a fraud. I need to hide it and I can't talk about it. No, why do you feel that way? Right? What makes you think that that's part of you? Because it's not. It's part of life. It's part of putting yourself out there and jumping into something that you're afraid of. Being afraid is good. What's wrong with being scared, right? I mean, we've all been scared before. Every single person gets scared. You get scared to take that leap. You get scared to go for that interview. You get scared to go for that career. You get scared sometimes to walk out because of COVID. I mean, there's so many things in this world that are scary. Why? Right? And that's the thing. It brings it down to an identity point of view. So that's one thing. I just wanted to get that out there right now. I hate the word syndrome.
And it's in the definition too, right? It's literally imposter syndrome is a behavioral health phenomenon.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So they put it in the definition, but they don't decide to use it as the actual label.
Yeah.
Because they want to label it, and phenomenon isn't a label, right? That's the problem. Everyone kind of calls it the syndrome, and it gives it a label. A label is now part of you, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a good comment here. They need, the need to put. Jack is saying the need to put it's supposed to say label on everything drives me nuts. Yeah, I mean it's. I can't disagree. It's getting more and more common that everything needs to be labeled, and every little detail needs to be a part of your identity instead of your own character.
And some people are like that. Some people have to say, well, I need it to be something, which is okay. That's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't need to be a syndrome. It's a phenomenon. It's something that every single person on this planet, and especially in the geekdoms, are you kidding me? These people are already neurodivergent. They're already a little bit different than the norm, so to speak, and we're already dealing with it. You deal with it anyway, just in society. So why does it have to be a syndrome? It's a phenomenon. It happens to everybody.
No, I agree. I mean, you kind of told me a little bit about your story already. Do you want to share a little bit about why you recently felt like a fraud? Which, again, I think you're wrong. You are not a fraud. But I understand the feeling very well. But I think people would like to hear your side of the story.
Yeah. And then the feeling of it is one thing, and then understanding what you bring to the table is another. Like there's a fine line sometimes between feeling like an imposter and just not there yet, and that's what you need to start telling yourself when you feel this imposter syndrome is that's a different me that I'm not, but it can be, right? It can be. You're just not there yet, right? That's a hurdle. That's something to get over. That's something to strive for. That's something to reach at. That's something to accomplish. That's not something that you're frauding. I
want to put in a caveat right before you start your story, Steve, just so we know, because there's probably going to be some consenting opinions that go, or some non-consenting opinions going on through. By the way, guys, this is purely an opinion piece.
Of course,
the three of us to talk about. None of us are licensed psychologists. None of us are licensed psychiatrists. We are going to have differing opinions amongst each other and you guys as well. So please, guys, don't, regardless of how sure we sound about whatever it is that we're saying during the next 30 minutes, we don't mean to come across that way. These are our opinions.
No.
None of us are medically licensed doctors that can tell you, well, it's this and not that. So just what I want my money back.
There is one out there that I would suggest checking out. Her name's Claire Joyce. It's Joyce, I think it is. She runs a podcast called Ditching Imposter Syndrome. It's something to check out. Like if you actually do feel like you go through this a lot, check it out. She is licensed in it. She's been certified for over 20 years as a coach specifically on imposter syndrome. So it's not even that she's just a life coach. It's very specific to imposter syndrome. She's an extremely good resource to reach out to. That being said, though, of course, I'll hop into the story. So I just recently, I checked with them. It's okay, I can talk about it, but I was recently asked by 2 different Comic-Cons to be a guest, special guest, and a judge for their cosplay contest.
Hey, which one, Steve?
Friggin' awesome.
CK Expo, which is mind-boggling to me. Like I was like, this is a non-profit. It's an amazing convention. Rob,
what's CK Expo? I've never heard of it.
Oh, you liar. two days long, you know. It's this year. It's gonna be fantastic. And then Windsor Comic Con too. Michael had reached out to me and special guest judge in the cosplay contest. Same. So both of them. And of course I jumped on it. Of course. Like you ask, I'm gonna show, you know, like that's as long as I can, I'm gonna do that for you. But then I started thinking and I'm like, why? Like I know what I built. I know I created Groot. I know as far as I'm concerned, he's fantastic. If someone hates it, they hate it. It is what it is. But why me? I've only made one. There's people out there that have been doing this for 20 years. You know, what makes me good enough to do that? That was what kind of got to me, you know? And then of course the imposter syndrome got brought up a couple times. And I'm like, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what's going through my mind right now. It's that I swear it's every single category. It's every single one of them a little bit mixed together, you know? You're like, holy crap. You know?
Yeah, it's just back in the day, of course, I'm going to show my age. Back in the day, we just called this self-doubt. We just called this just not being sure of yourself or whatever. And I'm not, I get the argument against labels. And I think that's a whole other podcast that we can get into talking about labels and such and where that's sort of gone. But at the end of the day, the way I always feel about this type of thing is that if we're all experiencing it at some point or another, is it really that divergent from quote unquote the norm?
No.
If it's something that we're all doing anyways, and we've all been doing probably since the beginning of time, basically, then that it's no longer an odd thing or a weird thing. It's literally something that we're all doing. That doesn't mean you can't explore it and understand it about yourself and try to be, you know, I don't want to say better, but try to combat it or try to get over it or try to get around it or whatever.
Degrees,
but
right?
I think it's important too to recognize and realize that it's not like Natasha up here is saying being different is what makes us unique individuals. I agree, but I don't think this is a difference between us. I think this is something that we all experience. Literally everybody experiences to one extent or another. Some of us might experience it a little bit deeper than others do. Because I remember the first time I was asked to come out to judge a cosplay contest, the exact same thing had happened to me. I had one cosplay and mine wasn't this really cool big thing I built. It was just some asshole with a leather jacket and a bat. And yet I was getting asked to be a cosplay guest with a table and judge and all this bullshit. And I'm like, why would you be asking me to do this? That's crazy. I have one costume. But a lot of the times, I mean, we can get in the back and forth of why they'd be asking and what you have to do to level up in your own mind.
Yeah,
but
of course.
What you're talking about is something that I think that everybody, probably everybody in here, everybody that you know, everybody that's close to you, and everybody that you work with has probably felt at one point or another. I think it just comes down to the extent. Some of us feel it more than others. Yeah. That's all it is, right? And some of us have a harder time. It's
just the severity, you know,
a harder time combating it than others do. And sometimes I think you probably have to embrace it a little bit too. Like sometimes it's okay not to walk into a situation like your king should have turned mountain, like you have all the confidence in the world, because that may introduce some barriers to learning things, learning new things, taking up new skills, taking up new hobbies. If you don't, having some confidence, I think is can be helpful in certain situations, but in others, it's kind of good to go and meekly ask questions, look for help, and especially when I'm at work, they're shoving me in new roles all the time, and a lot of the times I'm like, I don't have the fuck. I just was shooting a film, and 3 times in that weekend while I'm shooting the film, I turned to one of my co-stars and I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Because I didn't, and I don't, and I felt imposter syndrome the whole fucking time. I felt like a complete fraud. They tried to show me some footage back, and I was like, I don't want to watch that. It's terrible. I don't. Please don't show that.
Don't do it to me.
Awful. I don't want to see it. So we all do it. We all get it. And
exactly.
That's what Tana's saying too. It's not always about the cosplay. It's not. I think a lot of cosplayers experience it based on the fact that it's a performance art, and every time we're putting on costume and we're going out in public, we're putting ourselves out there. We're literally putting ourselves on a platter. Of course, you're going to feel it more when you're doing something like that, when you're doing something that's so you forward, like when I'm going to shoot the movie or whatever. Like that's something where you're literally putting yourself in front of everybody as quote unquote the center of attention and be like, here guys, this is me and this is what I've done, or this is what I'm doing. Judge me. And then you're just like, so yeah, man, like certain situations I think will bring it out more than others would if you're just sitting at home playing a video game and, oh, this is a level I haven't played before. I hope I'm good enough. Okay, well, that's maybe not to the same extent, right? JS, what do you think? Where are you on this?
No, I mean, I completely agree. I feel like you've hit it on the nose that they can call it whatever they want to call it, but it is something that literally everybody is going to go through at one point or another in their life.
Normal.
I feel.
It's normal.
It's 100% normal. And you're right, Jeff. At one point, we called it self-doubt, and even though maybe we understand it a little bit better as something broader now, it doesn't change the fact that it's nothing to be ashamed of, first of all.
No.
And it should be talked about, and it should be, I want to say, normalized, because again, everybody goes through it, and talking about it sometimes actually helps. As weird as that's going to sound, being able to talk about what your experience is and how it's affecting you, just that sometimes is liberating, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you one thing. That was a bit of a lull. I'll tell you one thing that doesn't help, and I'll tell you the one thing that, for a lot of people anyway, it cranks it up to about 11, is social fucking media.
100%.
Because you're already doubting yourself on a whole pile of stuff, and then you're seeing people. Nope. By the way, guys, nobody posts the ugly ones. Nobody posts the ugly ones, right? You're seeing people living their absolute best lives, showing you their absolute best foot forward on social media. And you look at that and you think, what am I compared to that? And not even just costumes and cosplay, but everything. I follow a bunch of people that are just out there living life. They're doing cool shit outdoors. They're going to travel. They're eating exotic foods. They're doing all these amazing things. And I'm just like, I'm not doing any of those things. Social media, I think, has driven what used to be just self-doubt that we all kind of felt every now and then to this gigantic thing where we're constantly being bombarded by people that appear to be doing so much better than us. So much better than us, or how better than we feel. It takes us a long time. It took me a long time to realize I'm not seeing that person on social media. I'm seeing this icing on the cake, this facade of this person that they've crafted for social media. In most cases, it's not true of everybody, but in most cases, again, you're not really posting the ugly ones, maybe some funny ones, but you're trying to put your best stuff out there because you want to get the most likes and the most follows and get the most whatever. Unlike this podcast where we just fuck around for 20 minutes talking about chicken wings, right?
That's what gets you the most likes,
Social media is a highlight reel.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's where we get all our likes from.
So it makes it more difficult sometimes to get out of your own head about feeling like an imposter when you're seeing countless posts over and over again showing you these people doing these amazing, incredible things. How do you not get in your own head when you see shit like that? Yeah. It used to be just the celebrities, but now it's like Bob down the street is like killing it on social media. You're like, what the fuck has Bob got that I don't have? And it turns out just better social media savvy, I guess, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, right?
And in cosplay, it's huge. It's huge because we're creatives. Even those who aren't creating, you're still a creative. You still had an image, you still had a vision, and you had someone else make it for you. That's still creativity.
Still a performing art, right?
Exactly. That's what the whole thing is creativity. And what kills creativity? Fear. Fear is a killer of creativity. You're afraid to try it. You're afraid to go big. You're afraid to go do something you've never done before because what are they going to think? What are they going to think? Are they going to hate it? Are they going to love it? Am I a fraud? Did I bring something bad to the table? That's kind of the whole point. We deal with it a ton. And then they feel like a fraud. So what happens? You don't talk about it. How are you going to talk about it and throw yourself under the bus for being a fraud? It's one of the worst things to bring up, right? You can bring up certain mental health, maybe, yes, you can talk about it. Certain things you can bring up. It's been normalized. It's okay to feel a little depressed. Been there before. It's okay to feel all these different things. Been there before, but how do you bring up I'm a fraud without people thinking now that you're a fraud? It's extremely difficult. So we tend to shove it down, and then it gets us in that identity part. It's part of us now. And it's hard.
Has feeling like a fraud somehow stopped you from wanting to push forward and do something new?
It's no. For me, no. Would it for many people? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can totally understand why. I am just that type where I'm like, you know what? Courageous, in my opinion, bravery, in my opinion, is being afraid, but just doing it anyways. And I find that even if I'm feeling that I'm not good enough for this, well, how do I get to that me that is? How do I get to that me that's not going to feel like that fraud? Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to get better at it. And if I fail at it, guess what? A failure is a step towards my success. So why not take that leap? Why not go for it? And some people may not be able to do that. And you know what? That's what we're here for. That's what we're talking about. That's us trying to tell you it's normal. That's us trying to tell you I've been there before. You've been there before. Jeff's been there before. I bet you any single person in this comments, they've been there before. Everybody who likes to pretend like they haven't, guess what? You have. You've been there one time or another, whether it's been on a very minuscule scale or whether it's literally taken you to a point where you're denying opportunities. And denying opportunities does you what? Zero favors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's also the side of, not believing that you can do as good or better again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You
I
did
feel
that
that every
one
day.
big thing that you did. You built Groot, and then I'm saying that, but I'll talk about for myself. You build the Predators, and then you're like, I'm never going to be able to top that. Right? What's the point? I'm never going to be able to do something this cool again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which has killed a lot of my projects. I'm not going to lie. Right? That's
the
the kind of
fear
attitude
kills creativity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's exactly what it is, man. And we're all creatives.
Yeah,
And that's I see it a lot. I hear cosplayers all the time. Yeah, I'm new into it. I'm a baby cosplayer. I've made one thing. I've made little projects in between, sure, but one full giant costume. And I'm a baby. But even me, I hear it all the time. I'll hear someone say, "Oh, I don't want to do that because it's not good enough." Oh, I don't want to go say hi because they're so much better than me. Like, so what? Go say hi. Figure out how they got that good. Ask them questions. Yeah, there's that gatekeeping. We all know it. We all know it's out there.
You never know. They might end up co-hosting a podcast with you. And, I mean,
right?
You don't know, right? Like, I'm one of those guys where I'm like, ask me. If you want to know how I built Groot, I'll literally draw it all out for you. You build one too. Let's Groot it out. I'm not like that. I'm an open door, man. I've had people message me, ask me, well, how do you make your stilts? Let me draw you up a schematic. What's your shoe size? You know what I mean? Like, I'll do what I can for you. I'll show you what I did. I'll show you what I built. I'll tell you how I built it. I'll tell you how I messed up.
We're gonna need to start talking soon. FYI.
Oh, I got you.
I think that's important too, by the way, because it's ask questions is what Cutie is saying over here as well. And this is cool, guys. This is great, but this can also lead to a cyclical thing as well. If you're already a person that's suffering from this and you're having a really hard time with what you currently have going on, and then someone's trying to ask you about how you did certain things, and you're already having a critical confidence issue. I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen with people I'm close with that I would never imagine it happening to in a million years. They made a post. There was a particular prop in the post. Someone commented on the post, "Hey, that prop is really cool. Where'd you get it?" And their immediate response was, "I'm not telling them that. Then they'll have it and they'll look better than I did." It ends up being this weird hamster on the wheel fucking thing in your brain that's happening where you already feel shitty about what you're doing. You're posting it anyways, but you have a lack of confidence in this. And so that you don't want anybody else trying it because you're afraid that they're going to do it better than you're doing it. And that's just going to deepen the hole that you found yourself in. I see JS making that face. I'm with you. I don't feel that way at all. Anytime, half the people in this chat have probably messaged me about cosplay at one point or another, including the guest here today. I'm happy
many times.
I'm happy to impart whatever meager, shitty knowledge I've got in the last 10 years of doing this crazy, expensive, dumbass hobby that we've all found ourselves in. But that doesn't mean that I don't suffer from the same thing sometimes too. I distinctly remember going to a con, and I'm not going to say which one it was, but I was cosplaying a character, and I found out that another cosplayer was cosplaying the same character at that con, and they were just a way better cosplayer than I am. And I had that moment. Like, fuck, do I change? Do I do something else? Do I just avoid that person at all costs, hoping that no one's going to see us together and think, wow,
they're
one of
too
those is
good,
really
yeah.
good and
Yeah.
one of those is shit. And I know who the shit one is. And I just thankfully, kind of like Steve was saying, I was able to get myself to a point where I was like, fuck it. I don't care. Like, this is me. I'm doing it my way. Even if they're doing it better, that doesn't mean there's not going to be any appreciation for what I'm doing. And I'm having fun with it. So who gives a shit? I didn't avoid him. I went up and got a picture with him and it was fine. There was no problems. No one went, ew, like it was okay. It was all up in my fucking head. But sometimes those cycles will happen and you don't want to see yourself
100%.
get outdone. And so you end up inadvertently gatekeeping your own shit. And sometimes you never come to that realization, like, oh, now I'm just gatekeeping like an asshole. Like, just share it and let's all do it together. Like I said, I've had people close to me where I was shocked by watching them do that. I'm like, why are you? And of course, I'm not going to call somebody out. Sometimes that's
That
just
wasn't
how
me,
it
I hope.
is, right? It was not you. Of course it was you. No, it was not you. No, of course it wasn't you. No.
I can't believe I would ever.
No.
know,
This
say
is
something
before.
like that,
This is
but-
before. I shouldn't say that. I've seen it happen more than once, unfortunately. Because not only do people get protective about their own stuff, they get protective about certain characters too. Like, oh no, that's my character. I do that character. Nobody else should do that character. And I'm like, you're not even that.
Man, you know what? I do my character, Groot, because I freaking love the character. If I walked into a convention and there was 1,000 people that made my Groot because I shared my information, it'd be the greatest day of my life.
Right?
You know, I'd be like,
we all like rolled up like Reservoir Dogs and we're all Groots walking into that slow-mo.
right?
Brother, it'd be dope.
I have an original design that I've been sketching up, and it's called the Gatekeeper. And I've actually been thinking about maybe making it, and it's kind of that montage towards stop it. You know, like we'll see.
Gatekeepers are going to be a thing, guys. It is going to happen. Some people might inadvertently, like Tanith is saying it here too. Like, I've dropped cosplay ideas because of talented cosplayers who rocked it.
I like it.
I get that. I mean, again, that's never something I would
mean-
encourage somebody to do. But if that's what's going to help you, if that's what you need for your mental health, I'm never going to shame anybody and say, no, you have to do that cosplay because blah, blah, blah. If that's where you need to be mentally, that is 100% okay. Is Porkins okay? Is he having a stroke? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Is his space bar broken? I don't know what's going on with Porkins. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't own it. I get it.
Yeah. I had Cutie saying the same thing. I've dropped a costume, doing a costume, and I found out somebody else was doing it too, but it was because I knew they would nail it and I wanted them to get the praise and love they deserve. That's nice of you, for sure. And then I went and made it the next year. That's nice of you. I still don't think anybody else should ever determine what you're going to do, but that's my personal opinion. That's not, I'm not shaming you. I'm not shaming Tanith. Whatever you guys need to do.
We're all going to have our own way. You know, you're all going to have your own way. And 100%. When we say, oh yeah, we just say screw it and we do it anyway. You think it's not easy. It took me years to get that mentality where I'm like, you know what? I know this is holding me back, but it doesn't mean that you're there yet. You could be at the beginning just realizing this is happening. Well, it's a journey.
It is.
It's a tough thing to get through. Like, it's not to shine. It's to shine a light on it. It's not to diminish its value.
And sometimes you'll get to a point, guys, too. Like, there's a reason why I retired Spider-Man, because I'm 50 fucking years old. You know how intimidating it is to try to be Spider-Man when you're 50 and you're surrounded by skinny 20-year-old boys that are just destroying you in Spider-Man poses and figures and everything else that you just can't do because your old body just won't move like that anymore. So, guys, I get it. Please don't think I'm up here just thinking like my shit's great and I don't care what anybody thinks. That's 100% not the case. Those pictures of my Spider-Man came out after we did that fan expo, and I said it right into the group chat. I'm like, holy shit, I look fucking terrible. I'm never doing Spider-Man again.
No, you look amazing. What are you talking about?
Regardless, we're talking about what's happening in here. And in here, I thought I looked brutal. And I've literally done Spider-Man once since then. And it was like a one-off thing that I did. So I get it, guys. Please don't make you think I'm just sitting in the chair going, oh, you guys can't. It's happened to me. It's happened to all of us. I think that's the point of this podcast. It's literally happened to everybody here at some point or another.
Yeah. My whole big thing was bringing it up anyway, was just to tell people it's normal. Like, you're not different. You're not different just because you feel that way. You're different in your own ways, which are fantastic, but it's not because you feel like an imposter. You know, we've all been there. We've all done that. There's tons of things that you have available nowadays to help. You know,
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
start journaling. You can talk to yourself, give yourself your own accomplishments. You need to, you know, own the
Yes.
small things.
Thank you, Cutie. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Sorry, that disappeared. What happened?
No,
there?
I know.
One
No,
at the
Cutie
same
was saying,
time.
excuse me, I had pics with you in Spider-Man, and all I have to say is, and I'm not using the D word, but yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Ah, Condade.
Yeah.
I told him it needs to be a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
know.
Super not going to
We
be a
got,
t-shirt.
Matt Sheridan here
Fuck
also
off.
having a stroke saying, best looking 50-year-old Spider-Man.
Is the T close to the 5? What am I missing on your keyboard, boys?
It is close to the 5, I guess.
Yeah,
I suppose.
talk to your AI nowadays. Oh yeah, I guess it is too.
Victoria's saying, I definitely feel imposter syndrome as Catwoman, but I still show up as Catwoman. I'm still not confident in the costume, but I can't see that. I believe it's I'm trying to prove myself that I deserve to be whatever I want. I mean, that's another big part of it, right? Is almost
Nice.
not even like not wanting, like, you have the costume and you know, like, people like to see you in the costume, but you don't feel like you even deserve to be wearing the costume, whether it's something that you made or even bought, right? I mean, that's another. A lot of people have that type of a feeling. It's not an uncommon story as well.
No,
so
worthiness is definitely in there.
Yeah,
As a joke. You know, I was like, you know what? The only Comic-Con I know of, I've never been to one in my life. And I know of San Diego. And I look it up on YouTube and it's giant freaking outfits. And I built Groot to show up to fit in. And that was the absolute last thing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got met by the guy who runs the convention outside the doors. And he's like, welcome, please come in. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and then you walk in and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I have 1,000 people coming up to me right now, and I don't know, like, what? You know, one of the first people that blew my mind was Ill-Gotten Hugs. He came up to me and he came running up the freaking hallway and was like, dude, like, I've been accused of being Groot all morning. This is amazing. Like, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, right now. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's my first costume. And he's like, I don't even know what to do anymore. You know, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what to do right now. You know, like, I showed up, I'm in a competition, and I don't even know what's happening.
Yes, I know. I judged that competition.
Yeah.
Where I met you.
I was out of my element, man.
Well, all you had to do was walk in the room, man. That's all that took. And I get that, and that can be tough too for those guys that start off with a costume and they start off with something that really hits really hard right away with, like, your first costume. Jay, I know Predator isn't your first, but, like, nothing, like, it hits so hard. I had Negan, you had Groot. Andrew. Like, early on, if you get one that hits huge early on, you get then in your own head, like, how in the balls am I ever going to top that? Like, no matter what. And then you start, like, getting in this weird cycle where you're like, what giant, huge, crazy build can I possibly put together that's going to have a just as big or a bigger impact? And then maybe
you're building your big, huge, crazy build now, but, you know,
and maybe you even get a couple of things and you throw them together and you hope it's going to be, and then it's not. And then you're ultimately like, do I just fade back and just do that? Like, I know cosplayers to this day that started 10 years when I started, they started with one character and they're still just doing that one character. And they leaned into it so hard that it's become their thing. That's what they've gotten known for. And for some of them, it has skyrocketed them into popularity because that character has stayed relevant throughout. And they do that character so well because they've been in that skin for so long. But man, can you ever get in your own head when you have a costume that goes over so well, you both know, and then you're like, what do I do? Do I just be that guy? And I'm just Groot. Now I'm just a Predator, or now I'm just Negan. Or do I try to be a cosplayer and do a bunch of different stuff and just see what works and what doesn't? Because, yeah, man, we've all been there, right? Sometimes it goes over great and sometimes it goes over like a lead balloon and you're just like, wow, do I just put the tried and true back on because I know it's going to work? Or I
showed up at London Comic-Con and I did that Scorpion. I I was like, I don't even know if I'm comfortable now showing up in something else. You know, like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, now I'm showing half my face. I've never showed my face before other than taking it off to freaking breathe. Yeah, you know, like I didn't like doing it. Even us, Jeff, I didn't even want to take it off when they judged me the first time.
I was just gonna say, or like some asshole on the stage at CK Expo makes you take it off to talk to you about your costume.
Yeah. You know, talking
in front of
my
the
Groody.
entire crowd. Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Nate is saying the same thing.
And I'm like, oh snap! Like I'm like, okay, it is what it is, right? You just jump in, and that's that courage. Is just being afraid, but doing it anyway. We're all gonna feel it. Everybody.
And by the way, dude, yeah, but if you came out tomorrow and said, guys, I've thought about this long and hard, I'm just Groot, and I'm gonna be Groot for the rest of it, and I'm always gonna be Groot, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly okay. And if you got there because of imposter syndrome and you wanted to talk about it and you wanted to make changes later, that's okay too. But if you got to a point where you're like, no, this works, this is where I'm comfortable, I don't want to risk trying to do something else that's not going to go over like this, this is what I'm going to do. Dude, we will put you up on our shoulders, not when you're dressed as Groot, but you know what I mean? We'll like fucking cart you around. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no shame in that either.
Whatever makes you happy. If doing the one character is what's gonna fulfill you, what's going to make you happy, and you're not gonna feel like a fraud doing it, do it. Yeah. If you feel like a fraud settling for one character, screw what people think. Go do it, because I guarantee you 90% of the people you think are gonna hate it are gonna love it. You know, and it's not just because of the costume, it's because you love it. And when you love what you're wearing, you're going to show up to a convention and people are going to like it because you do. You feel better. You're in a comfortable position. You're talking better. You're talking more. You feel comfortable. You're not feeling like a fraud. You know, you don't need to. You don't need to. You are who you are. You're not a fraud by being yourself.
Agreed. Do you know what does make you a fraud, though, guys? Not hitting the like and subscribe button for this particular podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it,
guys. One
greatest segue ever.
I want to quickly talk about this while we've got a bunch of people that are on live with us now, guys. I'm sure you've noticed we didn't do any news tonight. We're gonna try to stay away from doing any news in the podcast at all. You know, especially in the new year. We're thinking of potentially doing a second live during the week at some point. We don't really know when. It would potentially be a shorter live, and it would only be the news. It would only be a Geekly update or a Geek World News or whatever we decide to call it, where it would just be me and Jeff for 15, 20, 30, however long it takes, talking about the geek news in that week. And then the podcast would focus more, again, on topical topics like we've kind of gotten away from in the last little while. I want everybody to know that we're not getting away from other stuff that we've done. We're going to do more top 10s. We're planning a new one to come shortly, so stick with us. There will be one in January. Yep. We're still going to have guests. We actually have a fantastic guest joining us next week.
Oh, I know. You got me so excited to hear who this is.
Not a cosplayer.
No.
We have an actual motion performer that is going to be joining us next week. Listen, we met him at Northern Nationals, Mr. Alan Henry, Kong himself, or Cocaine Bear, or a number of other characters that you probably wouldn't even know is him because he's a motion performer. Will be joining us from New Zealand next week on Thursday here live with us. So that's going to be amazing. He's just off of Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, which is going to be coming out in April. Obviously, he's Kong in this as well. He's coming off a new TV series that I don't know if he'll be able to talk to us about.
Hopefully, cross your fingers. Hopefully,
I don't know if that's still
it might still be in production or whatever.
One of those clauses,
who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
But Alan Henry will be joining us next week, so this will be a really, really, really cool episode. The week after that, 28th. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
On the 28th, we're going to do a bit of a year in review. That's right. It's the end of the year. So we're going to try to get as many of the geeks as we can on the live. Make sure you guys are there because we're going to be talking about our last year. It was quite a year.
It sure was.
From
Ups,
our 100
downs,
episodes
the whole 9 yards.
to some of the shitty cons that we've attended to some of the cool stuff that we've done. Make sure you check this out. It'll be an amazing one. We are going to be taking a week off after that. I believe it's the 3rd or the 4th of January.
Somewhere around
We
there.
will be off.
The geeks need a break. Come on, man.
We do
No,
need a
I'll
break.
give it to you. I just don't like it.
I don't like it either, but the 4th, we will not be on the 4th. So
Correct.
next week, we'll be talking to Alan. The week after that, it's our big year-end wrap-up, and then we'll take a week off, and then we'll be back in the new year, very likely on the 11th with the top 10 list that we're kind of bantering around here. I think that'd be a good way to start off the year. So Jeff Sarah better be a part of the episode. Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. Justice for Biff.
Mr. Steve, thank you very much, buddy, for joining us again tonight. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
friggin' awesome to have you on.
I'll throw myself under the bus any day if it helps people.
There you go. There you go. I guess next time we're really going to see you is probably going to be May the 4th, right? I don't think. Is there anything you're not? Well, are you going to be coming in March to Comic-Con by any chance?
I've looked at it. I can't tell you yes. I can't tell you yes.
We would love to see you there. The Toronto crowds would friggin' absolutely love Groot if you come. Either way, can't wait to see you guys again. Anything you want to pitch actually before we go? Your Instagram, anything, and any other socials or.
You can follow me at I'm a Fraud. Groot in London. It's on Facebook, Instagram. I have TikTok, but I never use it. It's like the odd time you might get something because I'm like, oh yeah, I have this kind of thing. You know, if you happen to work for local 1059 Launa Union, come see me, give you a massage.
I mean, I'm not
other
in the
than
area,
that,
but,
no. I mean, go check out CK Expo, Rob Bellamy, and those who throw that convention. And I think you're involved now too, aren't you?
I am. Yep.
You guys, it's incredible. It's an incredible convention. It's fun. It's small but big. It's not massive to annoy you. It's not small to bore you. You know, it's a great convention. And it's nonprofit.
Yeah, it's for charity. Yeah,
It's
Big
what-
Brothers
it's,
and Big
it's one of the only
Chatham
ones.
Kent is it's one of the few, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Big Brothers and
Yeah.
Big Sisters of Chatham Kent is the main charity that's supported by CK Expo. It is run as a nonprofit. So
Yeah, and it's April 27th.
28th and 28th and 29th or 27th and 28th, somewhere around
I think
there.
I think it's 27th, 8th, but it's on their
Okay.
website. You know,
Yeah,
go check that out.
We'll probably have Rob on
100%.
before CK,
Yeah.
like a couple weeks before, perhaps, or whatnot. You know, do a little bit of promo for the con.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll see him in March as well. Actually,
Yeah,
Rob,
he'll give you way
follow
more
him.
information than I.
Oh
am,
yeah.
but
We've had Rob
Oh,
on before.
no.
We'll have him on again for sure.
I'll be there.
Mm.
You
He's a
know what I
buddy.
mean? And then Windsor Comic Con, I'm going to be there too. It'll be my
Rose
first
City.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be my first time attending that one. I tried to get out last year, but I just couldn't make it work. Like with that, my costume's big, man. It's big. It's a pain in my arse. I need handlers. I need.
How do you
people
even carry
there.
that
I need-
around? Like, do you have like a van, like a minivan that you carry all that?
No, I
shit
can fit it
around?
in a car. I'm Tetris level 10,000. Okay, like my stuff's on point, but it doesn't mean anybody else is fitting in there. You know.
Well, yeah, and then when you
Yeah.
need handlers, I mean, you need to be able to take the crew with you, right? Like,
Yeah, and it's
go
rough
you
because
go.
I don't drive. So I got in an accident a long time ago. That's for another podcast. We'll talk about trauma.
Mhm.
You know, but that's another thing.
Well, then I guess it's a
so-
good thing you've got some good handlers.
Yeah. My handler's one of mine and my wife's best friends. You know, so she helps us out a lot. She loves going to conventions, so usually I'll pay for her tickets, and you know we'll have a good time. She'll help me out. My wife's been coming lately, and she's another handler. So basically, I have two now. It's fantastic. You know, one to pass me water, one to wipe my forehead. You know, it's great. I can't complain. Like,
Really glad you said
Damn.
forehead. Really glad you said forehead. By the way, guys,
and then I've got Jeff sometimes to wrap me up like a Christmas tree. You know,
I do. Your responses are still coming in, guys, and Flats was out to a big lead early on, but Drums is definitely making a charge here late in the evening. So
that's because the drum guys know when to chime
basic
in, okay?
fucking bitches all of a sudden all came out of the woodwork. They're like, go message Jeff and tell him Drums. So
interesting.
Anywho, time to wrap this one up, kids. Dude, I have nothing. I'm waiting until the holiday season is over, and then I will get to work on the way too many projects I have in the work for next year. Talking about your imposter syndrome, I have 5 projects in the work.
I have a couple that I've thought about, but I'm like,
yeah.
I have one. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So
yeah, same. I've got at least 3 of them are absolutely happening because I'm already like money in on 3 of them, but the other 2 is going to be like, oh, if that gets done, great. If it doesn't, that's not that big a deal. But and yeah, that's it. I was already talking to JS. We got to start planning our May the 4th celebration. That's going to be coming up here. That's in like 4 months and change, like 4 months and a bit. So we definitely got to start working on that. So stay tuned for that. We'll start releasing some details for that. And then yes, hopefully we can share some news about March as soon as we get it. We've already told you guys before. If they're going to put us on the main floor, you will absolutely see the Geeks & Co. there in a booth. If they're going to want to shove us in a room in the basement again, you will not see the Geeks & Co. there. I think we're all.
Oh, you'll see us. We won't have a booth,
but we won't have a booth. Yeah, we'll probably have media passes, and we'll just be our usual obnoxious selves. You just won't be able to interact with us at a booth, but we'll still be out there trying to build community as best we can and doing what we're doing. So, hey, look, it's Groot.
He is Groot.
That's the sketch of the new one.
Nice.
Oh, there's a new head coming. Nice.
Who doesn't
I think that'll be it. I mean, nothing going on my end. The end of the year is coming, and hopefully everybody's going to be staying safe over the holiday period. I think that will be it for this week, though. Make sure you tune in next week. Come and check out or chat with Alan. Stay geeky, everybody. We'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss anything.